Some people don't walk away from your presence inspired, they walk away unsettled. Not because you attacked them, not because you tried to dominate them, not because you said something cruel. Sometimes all you did was be calm, be clear, be real, be hard to manipulate, be comfortable without performing. And somehow that was enough. Enough to make them sharper, colder, more sarcastic, more competitive, more watchful. Because when certain people feel small around you, they don't say, "Being around you brought up something painful in me." They do something else. They hide it. Then they act it out sideways. And if you've lived through that, you know how confusing it can be, because from the outside, nothing obvious happened. But the energy changed. And before we go further, I want to ask you something for the comments. Have you ever been around someone who started acting weird, cold, sarcastic, or competitive for no clear reason? And deep down, you knew they felt smaller around you than they wanted to admit. What was the first sign? Leave that in the comments early, because a lot of people have lived this exact thing and never had language for it. Now here's the Jungian twist. People don't only feel small around you because of what you have. Sometimes they feel small because your presence awakens the split between their persona, the social mask, and the parts of themselves they've buried in the shadow. So let's talk about what people secretly do when they feel small around you, because once you see the pattern, you stop personalizing the performance. 1. They start minimizing what makes you strong. The first thing people secretly do when they feel small around you is they reduce you. Not openly at first, subtly. They minimize the thing in you that made them feel something. Your discipline becomes obsession. Your calm becomes distance. Your confidence becomes ego. Your self-respect becomes attitude. Your depth becomes too much. Your boundaries become coldness. Why? Because if they can make your strength seem unimpressive, exaggerated, or unhealthy, they don't have to sit with the more uncomfortable truth that your presence activated something weak, unfinished, or insecure in them. So they minimize, they act unimpressed, they shrug at what took years to build in you. They talk about your growth like it's not really growth. They treat your healing like a phase. They make your clarity sound dramatic. And the strange thing is, sometimes they do this so casually that if you called it out, they'd deny it instantly. That's what makes it hard to catch. But the energy never lies. Because healthy people don't need to shrink what is real in you just to stay comfortable. Only people who feel internally reduced by it do that. So if someone always seems to turn your strongest qualities into personality flaws, pay attention. You may not be dealing with honesty. You may be dealing with ego defense. 2. They joke in the exact place they feel inferior. This is one of the oldest moves in the book. When people feel small around you, they often turn their insecurity into humor. They joke about your intelligence, your discipline, your peace, your standards, your seriousness, your healing, your silence, your growth. And on the surface, it all looks harmless. A little teasing, a little sarcasm, a little, "I'm just kidding." But if you listen closely, the joke is usually pointed at the exact place where they feel least secure. That's not random. That's projection wearing a smile. Because humor lets them release pressure without admitting vulnerability. It lets them strike without looking hostile. It lets them test whether they can bring you back down to a size that feels more manageable. And you've probably felt this before. Someone makes a joke about how serious you are right after you stop tolerating nonsense. Someone makes a joke about your ego right after you finally stop underestimating yourself. Someone makes a joke about your intensity right after you become more honest and less fake. It's almost never about the word they used. It's about the emotional target they chose. And what they choose to mock often reveals what your presence has awakened in them. Because secure people can laugh with you. Insecure people often laugh at the part of you they can't comfortably match. 3. They start competing without admitting it. When people feel small around you, they often create a competition you never agreed to. That's one of the clearest signs. Now suddenly, everything becomes comparison. Your work, your progress, your relationships, your confidence, your attention, your peace, even your silence. You'll notice they start subtly one-upping, correcting things nobody asked them to correct, mentioning their accomplishments at strange times, turning simple conversations into status displays, trying to sound smarter, stronger, busier, more desired, more important. And what makes this exhausting is that you may not even be trying to compete. You may be completely relaxed. But insecurity creates competition where none existed. Because when someone feels inwardly reduced, they instinctively try to restore internal height. They need to feel above you somewhere, anywhere, so they search for categories: money, knowledge, social proof, experience, looks, relationships, maturity, spirituality. If they can't feel equal, they'll try to feel superior. If they can't feel superior, they'll try to make you feel smaller. That's why certain people become weirdly performative around calm people. Your lack of competition makes their competition look louder, and that makes them feel even more exposed, so they push harder. Not because you challenge them, but because your presence awakened the part of them that keeps score. 4. They study you more than they support you. This one is subtle, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. When people feel small around you, they often become observers, not supporters, observers. They pay attention to you, track your changes, notice your mood, watch your moves, watch your wins, watch your setbacks, watch your silence, watch your relationships, but they rarely bring warmth to what they notice. There's no real loyalty in it, no real presence, no real softness, just attention. And attention is not always love. Sometimes attention is surveillance with good manners. Because when someone feels small around you, your life becomes psychologically important to them. They need to know, are you really growing? Are you still ahead emotionally? Will you break? Will you regress? Is this peace temporary? Will life humble you back into a shape that feels familiar to them? That is why some people seem emotionally distant, but strangely informed. They know what's going on with you. They notice details. They register your shifts. But they don't carry you. They just study you. Why? Because support requires generosity. Study requires insecurity. They're not staying close to help your becoming. They're staying close to monitor what your becoming means for them. And that is a very different energy. 5. They try to pull the old you back out. When people feel small around the version of you that exists now, they often try to resurrect the version of you that made them feel safer. This is a huge one. They bring up old stories, old wounds, old failures, old insecurities, old versions of your behavior. They remind you who you used to be. They talk to you like you haven't changed. They trigger familiar patterns. They poke old emotional bruises. They test whether the old reaction is still available. Why? Because the old you was easier for them to stand next to. The old you may have been more uncertain, more available, more underestimating of yourself, more tolerant, more eager to explain, more willing to chase harmony at your own expense. That version of you gave them more comfort. So when your present self feels too grounded, too clear, too hard to destabilize, they try to call the old self back into the room. Sometimes through nostalgia, sometimes through guilt, sometimes through disrespect, sometimes through those little comments that seem random but somehow are aimed directly at a former wound. And what they're really asking is, can I still access the version of you that helped me feel bigger? That's why so many people get tested right after they heal, not because life is random, Because certain people are checking whether your new self is real, and if they can still pull the old insecurity out of you, they feel relieved. Because then maybe they don't have to adjust to the reality that you actually outgrew the old dynamic. 6. They become concerned in ways that quietly shrink you. Now let's talk about one of the most manipulative forms of smallness defense: concern. When people feel small around you, they often stop criticizing openly and start expressing concern. They're worried about you, worried you're changing too much, worried you're isolating, worried you're becoming too serious, worried you're difficult now, worried your standards are too high, worried you're closing off, worried you're not like you used to be. And if you're not careful, this can mess with your head. Because concern sounds caring, but fake concern doesn't feel like support. It feels like soft sabotage. It subtly suggests that your growth is a problem, that your boundaries are a symptom, that your peace is suspicious, that your self-respect is dangerous. Why do people do this? Because direct jealousy is ugly. Concern is socially acceptable. It allows them to bring you down without looking malicious. It allows them to place doubt back into a person who is becoming too stable to manage. And the deeper irony is this: very often, they are not concerned because you are lost. They are concerned because you are becoming harder to influence. That's what really scares them. Your confidence removes their leverage. Your clarity removes their confusion advantage. Your silence removes their emotional map. Your standards remove their shortcuts. So they call it concern. But what they're often trying to protect is not you. It's the old arrangement. 7. They copy what they secretly resent. This part is fascinating once you notice it. When people feel small around you, they often do something contradictory. They resent you and then imitate you. They mock your boundaries, then start using the same language. They dismiss your discipline, then quietly adopt your habits. They criticize your silence, then try to become more reserved. They roll their eyes at your self-respect, then borrow your standards. They act unimpressed by your presence, then slowly mirror your tone, your style, your distance, your way of carrying yourself. Why? Because what makes them feel small may also reveal something they secretly want. And insecure people are often terrible at honest admiration. Secure people can say, "I respect that." Insecure people often have to distort admiration before they can live with it. So admiration comes out twisted, as mockery, as criticism, as fixation, as copying without acknowledgement. And this is where the Jungian twist gets deeper. Because the shadow is not only made of ugly traits, it also contains buried potential, disowned strength, unlived parts of the self. So when someone feels small around you, they may not just be reacting to your strength. They may be reacting to the buried version of themselves that your strength wakes up. That's why the energy can feel so mixed, cold but fascinated, dismissive but watchful, critical but imitative. Because part of them resents what you awaken, and part of them recognizes it as something they abandoned in themselves. So what do people secretly do when they feel small around you? They minimize, they joke, they compete, they watch, they provoke, they disguise resentment as concern, they copy what they can't honestly admire. But here's the deeper twist I want to leave you with. Most of the time, you are not making them small. You are making them aware. Aware of their dependence on image. Aware of their insecurity. Aware of where they still perform. Aware of what they abandoned in themselves. Aware of the gap between who they present and who they really are. And that awareness hurts. Especially when someone has spent years building a life around not feeling it. That's why Jung's lens matters here. Because what people do around you is often not just about you, it's about what your presence constellates in them. The persona gets threatened, the shadow gets stirred, projection begins. And instead of saying, "I feel diminished around you because your presence awakens what I have not dealt with," they act it out sideways. That is human, painfully human. So what do you do with this? First, stop mistaking other people's discomfort for proof that you did something wrong. Second, stop shrinking yourself to make insecure people feel proportionate. That never works for long. And third, stop chasing closeness with people who can only feel safe next to a smaller version of you. That is too expensive. You are not here to dim your clarity so others can keep mistaking avoidance for peace. You are not here to return to old wounds so others can keep feeling emotionally taller. You are here to become real, and the real version of you will always awaken something in people. In secure people, it awakens respect. In honest people, it awakens reflection. In growing people, it awakens courage. But in insecure people, it often awakens all the secret strategies they use to avoid feeling small. And before you go, here's the question again for the comments. What was the first sign that told you someone felt small around you? Not because you were trying to overpower them, but because your presence stirred up something in them they didn't want to face. If this hit home, comment, "I stopped shrinking," and the truth came out. Because a lot of people in this audience have lived through this exact dynamic and never had the words for what they were seeing.